Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Naturally Yours podcast. So, of course, I'm your host, Ty the Natural, and on today, I have a very, very special guest, beautiful guest by the name of Brandy, who is an entrepreneur. She is an author. She is also a piano teacher, educator, and she also has her own piano successful business. And she's also a mother of two beautiful children. So, help me welcome my sis. E.
Yay!
Hey,
Amazing.
Brandy.
Hey, Ty.
How are you, sis?
I'm doing well. How are you? It's been a busy
I
week,
am.
but I'm well.
Yes, yes. It has been a already busy week, but I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you
So,
for
why
having me.
you are so welcome. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us just what you do?
Yes, my name is Brandy Davis. I am a mompreneur, right? I also work a 9 to 5 as well, but my focus is really on my business. I teach piano to young beginners from the ages of 4 and up, and I teach them the fundamentals of piano playing. Also help to build their confidence, and through learning to play piano, teach them the importance of resiliency and not giving up. So that's what I do. I have two children, a son and a daughter, 8 and 3, and they keep me very, very busy.
I believe
And
it.
yeah, so I just juggle everything in between everything.
Gotcha. Yes, you are always being productive doing something. Brandy definitely knows how to manage her time while doing a 9 to 5, building a business, taking care of her children is just absolute phenomenal. And teaching other children, how to believe in themselves, how to be resilient, how to develop that confidence. So, why don't we start back to Brandy? What made you say this 9 to 5 wasn't it? Like, what made you say, this 9 to 5 is not where I want to stay? Like, I want to create something else. And then what landed you into music?
So let's see. Let's start with your first question, was what made me say this 9 to 5 is not it, or not where I want to stay?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think it came, I've always wanted to work in music because
Hmm.
I started in music as a kid. So I grew up in a musical family. I started, singing in the choir, and then I started learning to play instruments, starting at like I was in third grade, so probably around 8 years old, and then started piano at 12. So music has always been a part of me. It's who I am.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure it was the path I was going to go at a younger age, because back then it was like, get a good job. These are the type of jobs that you should get that are paying well. Get a good
Hmm.
job, retire at a certain age. Get your
Right.
401k, things like that. So I kind of grew up with that structure in mind. But then, as I got older and saw different things, right? Went to college, figured
Hmm.
out my major, what I wanted to do, kind of, sort of. Working, I've been in healthcare for a long time, and then it just got to a point where I wanted to pursue, like, it was a something was calling inside of me to go to my music. Like, I still
Yes.
hadn't been able, I didn't feel fulfilled completely. Although I liked
Hmm.
what I was doing, I didn't feel fulfilled completely. So that kind of
Gotcha.
triggered me wanting to get back to my music. And it was all about how I was going to do that, whether I was going to be producing,
Hmm.
singing, songwriting, whatever. And
Right.
so now, when I had my first kid, it was like, okay, well, I want to be home with my kids. So how can
Hmm.
I do that? So it wasn't until my second child that I realized, I can teach
Hmm.
piano. I have this piano sitting here, not really playing it as much because I've been so focused on other things, but I can teach. Now, how am I going to do that? I had to figure that out. So it was once I had my second child, I said, no, I gotta, I gotta change this up. That's when I knew that the 9 to 5 wasn't where I wanted to stay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. I love that.
yeah.
I love how music has always been a part of you since you were a little girl.
Hmm.
And they always tell us to go back to what did we enjoy as a child?
Yeah, our
And
childhood.
for
Yes.
you, it's always been your music. So I
Mhm.
love that you've gotten back to that. And now you're teaching other children how to, love music and how to make it a part of their lives.
Absolutely.
Yes, so I love that completely. So do you feel like your children are growing towards piano, or are they maybe leaning towards another type of instrument?
Well, my son, he helped me get started with teaching, so he was like my guinea pig, or my first student, I should say.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he allowed, he gave me the opportunity to see what he's capable of.
Mhm.
Naturally, I hear him singing sometimes, so he has a voice naturally. It's just a part of who he is.
Right.
He's not necessarily playing as much anymore, but my daughter, she gravitates more to the piano, and wants to copy me and do what I'm doing. So we'll see. I'm thinking she may lean more towards the music, and he may lean more towards robotics, architecture, engineering, something like that. He really loves math. He really loves robots. He loves gaming. So something along those lines, he may lean into that. Maybe have music as a hobby. I don't know. We'll see.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But
Ah,
yeah,
I love it. I
yeah. My
love it.
daughter, we'll see. She's more dance and arts, music arts type. So we'll see. We'll see. I gotta nurture their gifts, expose them to more, and see what they really gravitate towards. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to see what they gravitate towards.
Me too.
Yes.
Fully, fully.
Yes,
Yeah.
fully.
Yes.
Fully. So, Brandy, why don't you maybe give us a couple tips, um being at a 9 to 5 and then creating a whole nother business in music? What are some tips that you could give to someone that maybe be a music creative as well, but they're stuck at their 9 to 5, but maybe they don't know what it looks like, maybe they don't know how to get started, they don't know what to do. So what would be some tips that you would give them, Brandy?
Let's see, some tips I would give them. So I would first say, write down what it is you want to do, what it is that you see that you want to do, what your vision is for this music pursuit, this dream that you want to create, right? Or this passion that you want to work in. How do
Hmm.
you see that looking? Music is very vast, it's huge.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
um, whether you're going to teach, or whether you're going to maybe be a producer, or whether you're going to be an artist. I won't speak to maybe the artist journey. I'll just speak to maybe creating a business where you're teaching or producing music.
Yes.
You want to write that down. What does that look like? And then you must understand that it's a process. So you want to have a plan.
Hmm.
How you're going to, they call it, what, an exit strategy, and how you're going to get out of that business. Obviously, I'm still in the corporate, but I have a plan that I'm working towards, so that I know when it's time for me to appropriately, fully exit that corporate environment. So having a number,
Hmm.
a monetary number that you need to meet within your business, or that money you need to make within your business, so that you can sustain the current lifestyle that you have.
Hmm.
So knowing that number and building your business, to towards that, so that you can earn that amount of money, so that you can exit at whatever that time frame is, right? So maybe you want to
Yes.
earn, $1,000 a month. What do you need to do? How many clients do you need to have, to be able to generate that $1,000 a month to sustain your lifestyle? So you want to do that. You want to build your programs and your uh, subscriptions, or whatever it is you're building, to so that you can get to that goal. All right.
Yes.
And then maybe there's like a savings goal you need to have, so you can put towards that, so you can have that cushion, so that, for me, I want to be wise. I'm a mom, so I just can't
Yes.
jump out there and not have nothing, because I have
Right.
2 kids I got to take care of. So I want to
Right.
have build up a little nest, in addition to, having that monthly ongoing income to sustain me and my family. So I think those are 2 tips. Have a plan, write it down, what you see your
Hmm.
vision is going to look like,
Hmm.
what your goal is ultimately for your business, right? Um,
Yes.
and then have a number set that you want to make each month. And then within all of that, there's so many steps that you have to do. But I think those would be the first 2 things to think about.
Okay. I think
Mm-hmm.
those are two great tips to give for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the plan,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Because I know me, I didn't really have a plan. I kind of just was like, I'm doing it. I just jumped out the window and didn't
Mm-hmm.
really have no plan. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still, finding my way.
Yeah, and even with that plan, you are gonna be finding your way. You're taking it one step at a time. Like, you may have a plan, like, this is what I want, but there's some steps in between those steps. And
Hmm.
so, to help navigate you through your plan, through your proposed plan, right? Because things can change. You may want
Yes.
to have a mentor or a coach to help guide you and give you the things that you need that you may not necessarily be able to see or didn't see because you haven't walked this path before. So having someone to walk with you along your building of your business is
Mm-hmm.
important too. So that's definitely an
Yes.
important tip to have because I didn't just do this by myself. I had a coach before I had a coach. So I've had several coaches. So I had coaches in the very beginning stages of me building, and then
Mm-hmm.
I've had, another coach in the middle when I was doing other things where I feel like I got what I needed there and needed something else. And then I have another coach now where as I'm scaling up, I get, a different level of coaching there to help me, grow the business at that level. So it's different levels, right? You need
Right.
different people to help you kind of walk that path. So because you're not
Absolutely.
you're not gonna know everything to do. You're not gonna know what you're doing if you've never done it before.
Right.
So you
Right.
just know you want to get started. You know you want out and you want to get started. So
Yes.
yes.
Yes, absolutely. So going into that, Brandy, knowing that you got to get started, knowing that you got to be brave and step out into this gray area that you've never been before. How do you teach people to stay encouraged, stay brave like you are, and stay resilient? Like, so how do you help people learn these
Yeah, these qualities or
yes,
characteristics, right?
yes, how do you help
So
these
yeah,
qualities?
like
Yes,
I
thank
mean,
you.
resiliency. Usually you have to go through something to develop it. It has to be developed. I think,
Okay.
um, um, circumstances can force you to be resilient, and
Mm-hmm.
then there are tools to help you maintain your resiliency. Like
Okay.
because there's ups and downs. Like there's going to be moments where you want to give up. There's moments where I want to maybe stop or give up, but I have to feed my mind things
Mm-hmm.
to help me keep going
Yes.
because there are moments where things get hard. So with music, with piano, with my students, there is the bit, I'm starting from the beginning. So these are very beginners, and the beginning is all so easy. It's like
Right.
level, it's right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then everyone, it's all fun and they're enjoying it. And as they continue to grow, the incline gets a little harder. So it starts to feel a little harder to get up that hill, and then they get to a
Mm-hmm.
point where they kind of feel stuck because their mind really has to click. Things have to click.
Right.
So when they get to that point, I try to encourage the students to be consistent in showing up. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in showing up and doing the work and practicing, they're going to build the confidence, which is what I help them to
Yes.
build the confidence as they complete something, as they get progress, and completing something builds more confidence. So
Right.
I encourage them as they're continuing to progress and continue to complete something with positive reinforcement. And then just um, I try to impart wisdom upon them
Mm-hmm.
through the whatever scenario it is where we're working through, showing how it will look on the other end of that if they continue to push through and work through that, and then using the practice tools I give them,
Mm-hmm.
they can see their own progress, right?
Right.
And then they end up getting out over the other side. So that's where their resiliency comes in, seeing how they stayed in it. They continue to work through it. They
Right.
continue to tell themselves, I can do it, instead of I can't do it. Or this, instead of saying this is hard, saying, I could do this. Because I have young students, so I use these simple affirmations, because sometimes they say, hey, I can't do this, or this is hard. I say, well, we don't say that in the studio.
Right.
I can do it. Let's change our mindset to
Mm-hmm.
say I can do it, or I can't do this, or it may be challenging, but I can do this, right? And
Right.
so I try to feed them, small affirmations. They're not small, but they're affirmations, and they mean
Right.
those few words mean a lot, and help
Yes.
to just give them what they need to keep them pushing forward and working through their practice, so that they can see what it looks like on the other side. And then once they accomplish it, they're like, they feel really fulfilled. They feel energized, excited,
Mm-hmm.
inspired, and then they continue to keep going. So that's pretty much what I do. I'm using a lesson as an example, or teaching as an example, but that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much how I work through with my students. And I'm looking to like create more like 1 minute bites of encouraging words I can share recorded to them, so they can play
Yes.
those back. But yeah, that's pretty
Yes.
much what I do to help them, grow in their confidence and to be more resilient.
Yes. I
Hopefully that
love
will
that.
translate over into their life. They're young now. Some of them are
Mm-hmm.
teenagers, but it will translate over into their life as they continue to get older.
Right.
Mhm. Yep.
Right. Absolutely. I love that because it's almost like setting the foundation for them for when they get older. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because those steps that you gave are steps that we take as adults. Like we
Mm-hmm.
have to, start, then we have to keep showing up, like building a business. You got to start it, then you have to show up for your business. You can't just go MIA. Who's going to know you? You
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah,
stop, oh, I'm frustrated. I don't want to do it now.
and that's
So,
what they do. They get frustrated, but you get in your frustration, you got to keep going past the frustration. So I have 5 year olds who get frustrated in a lesson, and
mhm.
they may be crying, they may be just not want to play for a minute, but having them take a breath and regroup and then go back at it, and then they play it. It's like, oh, see, you got through that. So helping them work through the frustration, that's a part of them being resilient and them seeing themselves work through it. They may not understand resiliency yet, but that's what they're getting. That's what they're
Yes.
doing. Yeah.
Yes. And it's building them to be
Mm-hmm.
stronger,
Mm-hmm.
to keep going, not to just give up because things get a little rough, things get a little tough. So I love that you're already building that in them. So when they do become an adult, their resiliency is grown so like so
Yes.
far. So I love
Hopefully,
that.
yes. That's what I'm imparting into them. They are really getting it. But I think the parents love that too. I sometimes hear people say, "Oh, I love how you give the affirmations on the lessons and things like that." So, I'm hopefully that's the impact that I want to give and bring, and hopefully they can take from it what it's meant to bring.
Yes, yes. No, I believe it because you are definitely a brave individual, a brave woman. Um, I feel like you're a great executor, and very focused. And you really pay attention to your time, and I feel like you're very disciplined.
Mm,
So I get that from you. So I think all of those qualities are great to instill into children at, as little as 3 or 5 years old. Um, and wanted to ask you your opinion. Do you feel like by a child taking in this type of education and knowledge that it kind of puts them ahead of the game of another child who never been through music lessons and had a confidence coach as yourself to help build that? Because I feel like we need that as children, because I know when I was a child I was picked on, I was bullied, and kids can be cruel and they
mm,
can really like dwindle your confidence.
mm. Yeah, I definitely think that having some sort of activity is great for kids, whether it's, music or, sports or something that's going to help um, instill in them, you know, um, just different things they need to help them develop as a human being, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Definitely accomplishing anything is going to build, one's confidence. So starting them young, putting a child in some sort of program,
Mm-hmm.
to just help teach them, how to be, teach them poise. Piano teaches poise, how there's
Right.
ways in which you sit at the piano. There's certain posture that you have as you approach the piano. And so, yes, that's definitely going to lean into them growing confident and knowing who they are, right?
Yes.
And knowing what they're
Yes.
capable of doing. So
Yes.
as we impart these different skills into our kids, I think at a young age, it does help to build that, right? And then
Yes.
also parents letting them know, hey, you are this, you are that, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you have these skills, you believe in yourself. Just imparting those affirmations from their end,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to definitely help. But definitely having activities definitely plays a part, um, in their growth, I believe, mentally, emotionally, um,
Yes.
um, educationally, right? So
Uh-huh.
it's going to put them ahead in those those different aspects, those different areas, and especially music tends to tap into both sides of the brain, their creative
Uh,
side and their logic
yes.
side. So they're getting
Yes.
they're getting a lot working through. They're developing a lot of different things work when they're taking these music lessons. And I
Mm-hmm.
have parents have showed me, or have told me, excuse me, their student has improved in their math or their reading because they have taken
Oh,
music lessons. So it definitely plays a
I
part
love that.
in their growth, with their education and their just overall development. Definitely.
Okay. I
Yes.
didn't know that, Brandy. That's very interesting. Can you
Mhm.
maybe just elaborate a little bit more on tapping into the left side and the right side of the brain? Because I never knew that. That's new to
Well,
me.
I'm not a scientist, but there is research out there, that shows I believe the right side is our more creative side of the brain, and the
Okay.
left side is our more logical, analytical, like mathematical side of the brain. And
Okay.
music taps into the entire brain, whereas other subjects only tap into one or the other. And so, like synapses are firing all over the brain, right? So,
Nice.
music is helping activate everything in our brain, and I
I love
believe
that.
that contributes to their overall development,
Yeah.
creatively, right, and
Right.
into the other skills that are not so creative.
Right.
But
Right.
as far as how all that works scientifically, I can't share that right now. But there is research out there. Yeah, definitely. If anyone wants
No.
to look into that, yes.
I love that you said that though. So make sure y'all do your research if y'all want to know more about that. But I love that you even said that, Brandy, because that's so interesting. I love that.
Definitely. And I mean, you bring up a good point. I may have to do some more research on my side, and maybe I could share more, as content. So yeah, for everyone.
Content,
Yes,
yes, I was just about to say that. And you can share it on your YouTube channel.
definitely, definitely. So I will
Yes.
definitely help to shed some light on that for parents or anyone who's listening who may want to know more about how that works. So definitely, thank you, Ty.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I wanted to also ask you, what is one challenge? What's one challenge or the most challenging thing that you have noticed since you've been in the piano business?
Challenging for myself, just being
Yes.
being a business owner, or
Yes,
uh
ma'am.
I think because right now I'm a solopreneur, I think
Mm-hmm.
the most challenging thing for me right now is, just kind of managing everything by myself.
Okay.
So as I attempt and as I'm growing, it's going to be, letting go of some things and finding other resources to help me, manage my business. That's probably going to be the biggest challenge for me.
Okay. Okay.
um, yeah, and then time is also a challenge because I'm still juggling, a few things. I'm juggling being a
Yes.
mom. I'm juggling, working corporate at time, and then I'm juggling working my own business schedule. So that sometimes becomes a challenge, especially like when the kids aren't feeling well, if my kids are sick or things like that. So just navigating through whatever may come that's
Mm-hmm.
unexpected. That's always a challenge for me, but tend to find a way to get through it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
you
God
do,
for
girl.
the village I do have. It's a small village, but I'm grateful for the village I do have that kind of has helped me, especially
Yes.
the past few months. But yeah, that's always a challenge. Navigating juggling the different things I have to manage, and then eventually finding someone to help me as I grow up, as I grow the business, not grow up. I want to make sure I make that clear. As I grow the business, as the business grows up.
Yes. Yes. Got you.
Yeah.
So, one of my ending questions would be, Brandy, is what is your top reason of why you work so hard in general or in your business?
Mm. Why I work so hard in general or in my business? Well, it's only me. If I don't do the work, who's gonna do it?
I know
I
that's
think
right.
I've always had a good work ethic. I think it stems from my grandmother bringing me up and just teaching me how to be a good worker.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of transpired over into everything I've done, whether it's corporate, whether it's my own business. It's just a part of who I am. It's a part of my core, my being.
Mm-hmm.
To stay focused, do what I'm supposed to do. Don't
Right.
be gossiping, about everybody.
Right.
Just do my work.
Right.
Be nice, be friendly, be me, and I'm just being me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's just being focused and getting work done, getting what I said I was going to do done is a part of just who I am. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I can't do it, I'll let you know I can't do it, why I can't do it. If I can't deliver it by a certain time, I'm going to let you know I can't deliver it by a certain time, recommit to a new timeline, or just not, or we just not going to do it at all. So it's just
Right.
a part of my core being and how I was taught, I think. And yeah, I just always been a hard worker. Like like I want to be I want to be more of a smarter worker now. I don't want to work as hard. I want to work smart. But I'm always been dedicated, committed, and a hard worker. When I'm working, I'm focused. Like I don't want like what? I'm working. Like don't bother me.
Okay,
That's
you
the type of
do.
personality I have. I don't know what to call that. There's a person that I'm a producer. My disc style is a producer. I learned I'm a producer, so I work. I like to do
Yes,
work.
you like to produce.
Yeah, it's just a
Yes.
part of my being, who I am. So
Yes.
why and how, like I said, I think it stems from my childhood, what my grandmother infused into me or imparted into me, and then
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of just grew with that and just became who I am because I know the results of doing the work. I like
Yes.
results. I like
Yes.
results.
Yes, you do, girl, because you be getting them,
I
girl.
want to see the results. I'm just very ambitious, very self-driven, motivated. I've never had to have anyone really push me to do something. Once I decide I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And once I decide I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. And
Gotcha.
yep. So yeah, that's
Yes.
just who I am.
I love it. I love it. I think your grandma really raised a fine young lady. I think, everything she poured into you definitely shows. You are definitely a beautiful person, very sweet, very ambitious. And I definitely admire you and how you carry yourself and how you, show up with results all the time. I love that about you. So,
I appreciate the kind words. We don't often we can't really see ourselves. Like we know ourselves from one perspective, but when others are looking in on us, we don't really know until they share with us. So I appreciate that. I'm not a perfect human being, right? But there's a core part of me. I'm who, what you see is what I am.
right.
For the most part, but yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't know what else to say.
It's okay, Brandy. It's
and I'm
okay.
and I'm silly too. Everybody doesn't always get to see the silly side, but I love to laugh and I love to
Me too.
dance and all that stuff. So yeah, but I really appreciate that. So when I'm like laughing, I'm really you can hear I'm really laughing. I like to laugh. So yeah,
Me
thank
too.
you.
Me
Yes,
too. I said laughing needs to be a love language
it does.
because I
Yes,
love to do it.
yes.
So, Brandy, why don't you tell them, how they can work with you or if they want their children, to learn some music and resilience. And if you have anything coming up, what you got for us, sis?
So I have quite a few things coming up for anyone who wants to work with me. So I do work with young beginners as well as older beginners. Okay. So I have my young beginners starting from ages 4 and up. And then if you're an adult beginner, you want to learn or get back to playing, maybe you used to play before, you can reach out to me as well. You can follow me or find me on Instagram at Brandy's Piano Studio and connect with me there. You can DM me, follow me. I also have my Facebook business page, Brandy's Piano Studio, there. So either way, you can reach me on Facebook or Instagram at Brandy's Piano Studio. And then I have my new ebook that's coming out. It will be launching. I'm actually going to push it. I got to push it out a couple of more days, a couple more weeks, because I'm still finalizing some things. I was planning to put it out at the end of the month, which is in a couple of days. So forgive me. I said I was going to do it. I'm still going to do it. I just got to push it out. But
Right.
I have my new ebook will be coming out. It's called Broken Keys. And this book is more focused or tailored towards the piano teacher or someone who wants to begin piano teaching or a music creative, right? Someone who is in the music creative space. Maybe you're into film production or not film scoring or, any other aspect of music. And maybe you're doing a 9 to 5, but you want to get more into your business, your creative business. This book talks about how to, monetize your business and make at least 5 to 10K a month. So this book teaches that, and that's coming out soon. Okay, so yeah, that's coming up, and you can pre-order on my Instagram as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pre-order, y'all.
yeah,
Pre-order.
yes,
Pre-order this book.
yeah.
Get
So
this knowledge.
yeah, so like I said, Brandy's Piano Studio. Find me there, ask me questions there, connect there, and yeah, I'll be happy to look forward to working with you or connect with you, anyone who's interested.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Brandy.
Thank you, Ty.
Congrats on everything. Congrats on your book. Congrats on your programs. Keep changing the world, sis, with your music.
I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Ah.
You're so
Hi.
welcome. You
All
are
right.
so welcome. So thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the Naturally Yours podcast. This has been phenomenal. And make sure you go follow Brandy and make sure you reach out to her and get you some lessons. So thank you, Brandy, again. I appreciate you. And this has been another episode on the Naturally Yours podcast. I'm Ty, and we out here. Peace.